For more on these talks, we're joined now by Reva Goujon from the intelligence firm Stratfor in Austin, Texas. Reva, thank you very much for your time. Do you think these latest talks then, do you think they'll be successful? Will they lead to a sort of more permanent ceasefire?
No, I think permanent is still out of the question. We're still at incremental stages of the negotiation, but we have to remember what each side actually wants out of this negotiation, or rather doesn't want. So Armenia very much wants to maintain the status quo. It's in favor of stronger ceasefire monitoring installations to help try to maintain that status quo and de-escalate as quickly as possible. Azerbaijan, on the other hand, prefers to maintain some ambiguity. It has a job to finish in terms of wanting to shake up the status quo of this territorial conflict and trying to regain some of those territories, especially surrounding Nagorno-Karabakh. And Russia, of course, has presented itself as the chief mediator, and the negotiations that Russia is holding over Nagorno-Karabakh extend well beyond the Caucasus into other areas of the former Soviet sphere, as well as in Syria when it comes to Russia's negotiations with the United States and the Europeans.
So how far are either side willing to shift in their stance, do you think? Has there been any indication that either side is prepared to budge in any way?
No, not so much. We can see the constraints are pretty much hardened on both sides, where Armenia is not willing to make any big political or territorial concessions on Nagorno-Karabakh. It would cause a huge political crisis within Yerevan. We saw Armenia recently throw out the threat of recognizing Armenian autonomy and independence, the Nagorno-Karabakh independence, which is sort of an empty threat in some ways, in that, it only means something for Nagorno-Karabakh to declare itself independent if that's recognized by outside powers. And, so far everybody's focused on having negotiations be the focus of their activity. But on the other hand, we have Azerbaijan, which again does not want to see things just quickly die out and just go back to frozen conflict status. Azerbaijan is intent on regaining territory, and it needs to incrementally sort of shake things up, and which means further flare-ups down the line.
Okay, Reva, unfortunately time is against us, but very quickly, you've already touched on Russia's role in this. I mean, what outcome would Russia like to see?
Well, Russia, I don't think, is wedded to any particular outcome. You can see that Russia has been developing its negotiations with Azerbaijan. It is trying to entrench itself deeper into the Caucasus. We also have to remember Turkey's interest here, as Turkey wants to balance against Russia's influence in the Caucasus, wants to become more involved. Military cooperation between Turkey and Azerbaijan is going to be very important to watch in that regard, as well as Turkey's dealings in Syria, where it is still very much blocked by the Russian presence there. And one way or another, Turkey, in order to meet its goals in northern Syria, is going to have to find a way to deal with Russia.
Okay, Reva, thank you very much for your time. Reva Goujon there in Texas. Thank you.